Hello, I want to show you a little bit about a potential MPS language workbench demo at ICSI. So here you can see MPS itself, and I can now show you a couple of language extensions that we've built in the context of the mbeddr project that we will use as a showcase. So here is like my hello world more or less. This is more or less C code. You can see function here, you can see main function there. We have added namespaces and a module concept to C, and you can see here a new concept, the test case, which is special in that it can use assert statements inside the test case. You cannot use asserts here, right? If you try to type that, this won't work. There's also a new expression, the test expression here, that allows you to invoke any number of test cases. You can go further and look at this. This is a component here, the ecomp, which has a decision table in it, which is a nice demo of non-textual syntax here, because obviously this table notation cannot be parsed, but since this is a projectional editor, that's not a big deal. It can be used in MPS just as any other concrete syntax. We've built more advanced things, such as interfaces with pre and post conditions, protocol state machines, and then components which provide and require interfaces. We also have support for mocking, where you can implement a component to provide a certain interface and then specify what it expects to see on that interface. Like it first expects to see a call to is ready, and then again, returns true the second time, false the first time, then it expects a store call and then a flush. Interface has these methods. So we have the ability to add completely, external DSLs. This is a little DSL to simply drive around with a robot, and this is neatly integrated into the overall system. We could use C code in this function as well as a way of mixing domain-specific languages with C code. Now, if we go back briefly to the simple examples with a unit test, we can take a look at how languages are implemented. Let's take the assert statement. I'm pressing Ctrl-Shift-S, which brings me one meta level higher. I'm now at the definition of assert statement. And as you can see, assert statement extends test-specific statement, and test-specific statement extends statement. Now, the testing stuff is defined in a separate language module, and we inherit from the language that defines statements in terms of C. It's also important to understand that I showed you that you can only use assert statements within test cases, and this is done by having a constraint here, which basically checks whether any of the ancestors of the statement we're about to add is a test case, and if not, then this is not allowed. So let's go back to the assert statement, which we have here. So the definition is basically that the extend statement, it has an expression which is basically the condition that's asserted. We then can look at the editor. The editor defines the projection rule. It has the keyword assert, then the expression, and then optionally, we haven't seen that, a reference to a message that is output if the assert statement fails. We then also print the index, so we can use this code index. That's just a function defined on assert statement, or actually in the interface iLocation aware, that basically gives you the index of the statement in the statement list. It's basically a way of pointing back into the code from error messages. Finally, the assert statement has to be translated into C code, and this is the generator that does that. An assert statement is reduced into whatever is shown in these TF template fragments. And what we do here is we reduce the assert statement to an if statement, which contains the negated condition, essentially. And then we use this macro here to put the expression from the assert statement into the if. We then here use a bunch of other languages for outputting error messages. I can't go into detail here. So this is a very brief demo of MPS and the mbeddr project, and we're going to use this in a demo to showcase how to build language extensions. Thank you.